Hello. I'm going to try and make this video, and it is way outside my wheelhouse. But I've been thinking of making it for a while, and just because I haven't seen really anything out there about it. And I know what I look like. But I'm trying right now, kind of failing to make this video. I don't like putting my face on camera anymore, I know. Especially a day after having a trip. So I look exhausted. Yes, I did just take a shower. I'm kind of feeling brave right now, so I'm making this video. So there's my disclaimer. What I feel compelled to talk about is the fact that I keep going on these trips, and how it could appear kind of counter to having avoidant personality disorder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the sort of most well-known personality trait duos, and break down, I think, what is the sort of stereotype or average or expected idea about what should the personality traits be for a average traditional person with avoidant personality disorder versus reality. And I've actually made a video about one of these before entirely and got quite a bit of blowback. And again, it's because people think that they know exactly what everybody who has this should be because they know what they are and they have it, and therefore everyone should be like them. And this is not true. And I think the fact that it's not sort of been put out there is proof that the stereotype is not accurate, or else it would be out there. They would say everybody with this has this personality. It's kind of like, what's his name, Cantor, saying that all men, this is wrong, this is a lie, this is like the proof of what I'm saying as how completely stupid it is. But he said at some point, and I'm just like, how did you get this published? How did you get this? He said all men who have avoidant personality disorder are gay. Well, that's bull. And I think that assuming that certain personality traits are automatically assigned to somebody is also bull. But I do feel pressure that I'm not doing it right because I travel. And even though that is my coping technique, that is how I deal. Oh, I look terrible. I look exhausted because I just came back from a trip. Anyway, I hate seeing pictures of myself. I'm going to say I look terrible in any video that has my face in it. Sorry, that's just how I am. Okay, the first idea is neuroticism. And people are like, of course, people with avoidant personality disorder are neurotic. But the opposite of neuroticism is emotional stability. Well, generally, yes, people with avoidant personality disorder do have emotional stability. Until I made videos about this, you can look it up. They need to get something done, in which case they use, a lot of times, they use anger in order to push them past their avoidant limits. So that's both of them combined. The second is, of course, this is the one that everybody's gonna be like, what? Is extroversion versus introversion. Of course, everybody with avoidant personality disorder is introverted. I don't think so. I really don't. And I think that the extroverted people with avoidant personality disorder are way worse off, because how can they cope with that? I mean, they need to be around people to get like any sort of energy to get anything done, and yet being around people is the worst thing ever. Like, I personally think in some, like, there are people, I mean, again, I don't really see it as a true dichotomy. I see it as a spectrum type thing. No, if I'm around people all the time, I can't function. But a lot of times I feel better if I'm around people. Again, for the people who are questioning, if you're thinking avoidant personality disorder means that you want to avoid all relationships with people, nope, that's schizoid. Avoidant personality disorder means that you really, really wish that you could have relationships, but your self-esteem doesn't allow you to have relationships with people. That's what the avoiding is. It's not that you don't want it, it's that you can't let yourself have it, whatever. That's a rabbit hole I'm not going down. The next thing is openness versus closedness. I think that's the word. To experience. Obviously, I, within a certain parameter, am extremely open to experiences. I go on these trips all the time. When I do it, I'm looking at art and new things. Try to be creative. All this stuff. This means I'm open to experience, unless it's an experience with another person. Then I'm an utter failure. So, okay, I'm going to try not to focus on being an utter failure. But it's hard. Anyway, I mean, I am an utter failure when it comes to interacting with anybody for more than 5 minutes. And anybody that I would have like a personal story with or interaction with, I'm like, 2 minutes max. I got to get away from them and never see them again. So I think a cat is coming. In that incident, in that specific case, extremely closed to experiences. But I would, again, I mean, with all these, with neuroticism, you assume that, for the most part, yeah, neurotic, that's avoidant personality disorder, super anxious and nervous when you're around people. That's not what neuroticism actually technically means in this sort of thing. Again, it's the opposite of emotional stability. I think the stereotype is wrong. Extroversion versus introversion. Introversion is definitely the stereotype, and I think it holds in most cases. It holds for the people that are lucky, but it's definitely not 100%. Openness versus closed to experience. In my limited capacity of who I'm talking to, that have gotten to diagnosis, I'd say they're more open to certain experiences. Again, it depends on each person, than closed. But again, very, very limited number of people I talk to. And I think if you're talking to somebody online, that already proves that you're open to certain experiences. The next is agreeableness versus antagonism. I would say, as a general rule, yes, we try to get along so that we can be invisible and nobody, generally. Or we will put out interesting stories that people will remember the story versus they will remember the person. The antagonism, again, is when you're trying to get something done, and it's never like, we don't lead with that. Generally, I mean, I'm sure there are some absolute bastards out there with avoidant personality disorder. This is my theory, and what I'm trying to prove here is that all of this, it can be any of it. And again, I just feel judged, and I don't think I feel judged from any actual people out there, but more like, I don't want to call anybody out, but when I see things like, God, I wish I could do that, I feel like I because I have avoidant personality disorder, am taking that as a sort of judgment, like I'm not doing this right, and I'm not doing this like that person over there, and so I'm not doing it right. Now, the thing is, the reason I say this is because I have been attacked online by people who, I don't know if they're self-diagnosed, probably. But they think that whatever they've got going on in their life is the perfect example of somebody with avoidant personality disorder. And, therefore everybody should be like them. I don't want the opposite, which is for anybody to ever see the stuff that I'm doing and think that's what you are supposed to do as a person with avoidant personality disorder. No, that's what I do. And I'm trying to show that there are things that you can try to do in your life to make coping with the symptoms better. The last one is conscientiousness versus unreliability, I guess. Yeah, as a general rule, not rule breakers. Again, because they want to be invisible and have nobody remember them. And so they try to blend in and not, it's kind of like with the agreeableness thing. We don't want anybody remembering us. We don't want anybody remembering, oh, that one's a flake. Oh, that one didn't show up on time. And yet, on the other hand, it's really hard to do things like show up on time, if you have to interact with people, if there's any chance of interacting with people. You want to keep that to the minimum so you like thread the needle. And try to basically get everything you need done, but don't hang out. Don't socialize afterward, especially with somebody you have to interact with in any capacity. Again, short or long term. If it's not somebody that you're going to like go to a grocery store, I mean, pretty conscientious in the grocery line, but who cares? You're not going to see the person doing your groceries again. But then you're not going to not show up with your method of payment either, because you don't want people to remember you. But on the other side, that can lead to people who miss appointments and everything else because they can't handle interacting with whoever they're interacting with unless they've determined it to be safe. One of the things that I was I was like, oh my God, I have a reputation. I can't handle this. I have a reputation. But I had always had a reputation that I don't miss like appointments, doctor's appointments, whatever. I just don't. I show up. Or else I just don't make appointments, and that's the unreliability part. But that's me personally, and that, again, that's a stereotype. That does not mean that everybody is like that. And so I just wanted to really confront that. And me putting myself out here as sort of an example of a way to cope is not me saying this is what you should do and this is how you should do your thing. And that this is the life of somebody with avoidant personality disorder, because of course, obviously. No, most people don't do what I do. I think that's what I was going to say. Yeah, is that if somebody tries to tell you that this is the personality profile of somebody with avoidant personality disorder, all 5 of them are crap, even the introversion, extroversion thing. They're all, anybody can get this, unfortunately. There's no kind of blueprint of if you're this type of person, that means you're going to get it, or else you're not. And there's no blueprint of because of this, and this is what you need to do to not be affected so badly by it anymore. And that's the kind of sad part of it. Is I wish that there was a way to say, just do this and everything will be better. But there isn't. Other than somebody's trying to get in here, it's a cat. Other than searching for what works individually for you and matches your individual personality traits, which are different from the personality disorder. And those are the big 5 average ones. There's lots of itty bitty teeny tiny personality traits. Hence, the collection of personality traits that is considered a diagnosable avoidant personality disorder, because that's all it is. It's personality traits, and the small ones, not the big ones, and the combination is this. And that doesn't mean that it, anyway, I've talked and talked and talked and talked and talked about it. I don't know. I wish I had a solution for people. I have a solution that kind of works for me. I hope that by showing that there is something out there that worked for me, that maybe it will inspire you to search and find something that might work for you. Anyway, I'm sick of looking at my wet hair, so I'm going to turn this off now. Bye.